This month's collaboration is all about Peruvian food, and I'm joining 14 other amazing collaborators. Too many of you to mention here, but I will add all your channel links in the description below. And I've chosen to do Lomo Saltado. Lomo Saltado normally has loin of beef, so here I have 400 grams of sirloin steak. Now, if you can't afford sirloin steak, you can use cheaper cuts of meat, but I'm sticking to the loin just for this video. So this steak has a little bit of fat in it, not too much, but I'm cutting some of it off, not all of it. I like to keep some of that fat flavour. And I'm going to slice it up into fairly thin slices. And I normally, when I've sliced these things up, I tend to sort of bash them flat and to tenderise them. But with this being a sirloin steak, there's no need for that. As I say, if you can't afford sirloin steak, then feel free to use skirt steak or flank steak, whatever you want to call it. A slightly cheaper cut, but you don't want anything too tough. Now, although Lomo Saltado is a Peruvian dish, as you'll see, it is sort of part Chinese, possibly stemming from Chinese immigrants that settled in the country in the past, but it's definitely a fusion food. And there we have it. Put it to one side, and I'll show you the rest of the ingredients. Okay, for the rest of the ingredients, I have 1 red onion, which has been chopped up, 3 large red chilies. Now these aren't, to be honest, they're not very hot, and you don't really want anything too hot, but sort of a medium heat is fine. And I have 1 inch of, or 1 thumb-sized piece of fresh ginger, which has been chopped up. I also have my homemade garlic paste. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of that. That's the equivalent of about 4 cloves of garlic. 3 or 4, I think Americans call them scallions, we call them spring onions, depending on the size. And 2 small to medium sized tomatoes that have been quartered. A tablespoon of vinegar and some dark soy sauce. So as you can see, I am cooking this in a wok. Now first of all, we need to sear the beef, so I'm going to put about half a tablespoon of vegetable oil into the wok and heat it up to a very high heat. And when that oil is smoking hot, I'm going to add half the beef. I'm going to do it in two batches, so don't overcrowd the pan. Now, like always, don't move it around, just put it in the pan and let it sear for about 30 seconds or so, and then flip it over. And look at that lovely searing in that beef, and it smells divine. And when the meat is about 3/4 cooked, then it's time to take it out. I'm going to add another half a tablespoon of vegetable oil and cook the second batch. Then in yet another half tablespoon of vegetable oil, I'm going to first of all add the onion. Continue to cook it on a high heat like you would a Chinese dish. Stir it around, toss it, keep it moving, and it will cook evenly. Then I'm adding the ginger and the chilies. And a good pinch of salt. Then continue to toss it, mix it around. The smell of this, by the way, is incredible. There's a charring going on with that onion, which is just divine. Next, I'm going to add the garlic. There's 1 teaspoon there, equivalent to about 4 cloves of garlic, I think. We don't want to overcook that garlic, we don't want it to burn. So just a short time before we add in the meat and all of the juices. Those are wonderful, wonderful juices. Continue to stir it. And then put in the spring onions. those chilies turned out to be hotter than I expected. They're actually catching the back of my throat. Finally put in the tomatoes. Now we don't want to cook these tomatoes too much because they will just turn to a mush. We need to have them retain their shape. So the dish is actually almost done now. Time to add in the vinegar and the soy sauce and continue to mix. Now it wouldn't be a Lomo Saltado without the addition of chips, or fries as Americans call them. Yes, they actually put fry into the actual dish itself. You can have it with the chips at one side if you want. They can do it both ways. But this, I think, is more authentic. And now it's time to dish it up. Believe it or not, as well as fries, they also serve this with rice as well. I know, it's bizarre, but that's just the way it hangs in Peru. So, we're going to plate up our dish. Fries, beef, rice, and that wonderful, wonderful sauce. This is an incredibly tasty dish, far tastier than I ever imagined it would be. And the final touch is to sprinkle over some chopped cilantro or coriander, and our dish is done. And there we have it, a perfect Peruvian dish, Lomo Saltado. Once again, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing, and also please hit that notification bell and you will be notified of any videos that I upload in future. And finally, I'd like to say big thanks to all my fellow creators in this collaboration. Good luck with your videos, and I will see you all very soon. So peace, love, and take care.